Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos and welcome to my weekly vault video here. This week's is a big one. There's very little chance I'll be able to replicate a vault video of this size ever again, possibly this season. This is probably going to be setting a new high watermark here. Every single character of my 13 characters did at least 3 vault things, so I can take sockets on all of them, because last week was the M+ bonus week. So there was big benefit to doing 4 Mythic dungeons, Mythic Plus dungeons. Now on most of my characters I did 4 Mythic Plus dungeons. On a few of them I did some M0s instead, or in addition to 1 M+ dungeon, so that I could fill out the vault and then potentially take a socket. On a few of my characters I also did 2 LFR bosses, so that I could also take sockets, right? Filling out the vault so that sockets were an option this week. So on most of my characters, I will probably take a socket unless there's something good here, because at this point in character's progression, like, if I see, say, a Myth Track belt, it's like, oh, that's nice. But, maybe I could get that somewhere else. Maybe I could get that in a future 1-slot vault. Whereas the sockets, I may never have this much passion to fill up the vaults again. So kind of counterintuitively, this one may be a more socket-filled episode than usual, because the vaults are more full, and I can get the sockets this week. But we start off with my Blood Decay. I'm going to buy a Grief Torch probably soon, probably this week. Oh, wow. An Awakened Mythic Diurna Ring. That's pretty good. There's also Boots. Already got those. An Awakened Mythic Augury of Primal Flame. That's also pretty good. We're starting off with some banger items here. And then, ooh, a Polearm appearance that I don't have with Speed. And Hero Track, this character did do an M0, a couple M0s to fill out the Vault Rows. Or not to fill out the Vault Rows, but to collect the Bullions last week. Okay, so I think I'm just going to select the Broodkeeper ring. Augury is a cool trinket, don't get me wrong, but I don't really want to use that on Blood. I could potentially use this. I think you use this on one of the DPS specs, but I can buy it later if I ever want to play that. I'm going to want to seal a filial duty for surezies, and this saves me a lot of crest buying it this way. Now, of course, I will still need the sockets, but this character actually will earn the sockets pretty easily, because it's going to be killing Mythic Raid bosses every week, so that makes that easy. And, bang, versatility ring. Slam on a little bit of verse onto that thing, and yeah, I mean, this item, Blood Decay is the tank that it's the least exciting on, but it's still, it's still so much value on a ring slot, and also a lot of item level. The Mastery as a stat isn't something that's super exciting, but I'm already entering diminishing returns for haste. Soon I will be for versatility as well, once I get my gear a little bit better. So Mastery is not even bad. It's good for damage, and yeah, I could get some more crit for damage as well. I think eventually I'm just going to kind of want all of my stats to be approaching that DR, with maybe haste over it. Okay, by the way, the add-on that shows those stat DR bars is a True Stat Value, TSV, True Stat Value. Pretty cool add-on for if you want to track as you're approaching those breakpoints where your stat starts to get less value. I don't have a video on about how stat diminishing returns work, but for most DPS players and stuff, you just sim your character and it'll do the math for you on it. And usually it's still worth it to pick up stats a little bit into the diminishing returns, but for tanks and stuff, gotta be a little bit more feely crapped about it. But I think haste for most tanks is still, it's worth going into the diminishing returns for, because it's just such a good stat. Alright, here's my DH. I did 4 keys on this thing, and I also did a heroic raid. We're gonna not take anything out of the heroic raid slots. There's nothing that could possibly show up in the heroic raid spots. These are some pretty good items. This one is good as well, because it could buy me the mount. There's another necklace that it combines with, but I don't think I have that on this character. Okay, I would have maybe taken that. I want that mount. But okay, so we have a Verse Mastery necklace. I've already got a Lariat purchased, and at some point I might buy the Arboreal Necklet as well on this character. Ooh, we have Avoidance Shoulders. Or we take the sockets, because I'm not going to take any of this garbage, right? Like, I could take the Chromatic Essence, but I can just buy that with Bullions, and then it would go up to a higher eye level, right? So the question is, do I want Avoidance on my shoulders, or do I want these 6 tokens of merit so that I can buy some sockets? Now, there's a decent chance that this character will be the one that I push for title on this season, in which case, long term, the avoidance is probably better. Avoidance is not a particularly great stat for tanks, but there are actually several tank abilities against which avoidance works this season, right? Like Veximus, for instance. The Tank Blast is a frontal, it's AoE damage, works against that. Even a boss like Croth, you're dying to the Savage Peck, but you also get hit by the Deafening Screech that is avoidance reduced damage. So I actually think I'm going to make a long-term optimization here, and I'm going to go for the tertiary. Again, I'm going to assume that I'll be able to fill out enough vaults to take sockets at some point, but tertiaries are just so irreplaceable that I think I would have rather, seen Leech is what I think I most would like, but a little bit of avoidance is definitely not something that I'll turn down. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And the sockets, the more often I play the character, the less rare getting 3 vaults is going to be, right? So the more easy it will be to buy myself sockets when I need them. It's like the really rat alts, those characters are the ones where I most want to take the socket when I get the chance to, because, it's much rarer. Okay, so my warrior did 4 bosses of Mythic Raid and 4 Mythic Plus dungeons, and it can maybe even earn a set bonus here. I need either a chest piece or gloves, I think, to be able to purchase my set bonus here. Instead, we're going to enter the helmet factory, where we've gotten offered 3 helmets, one of which has avoidance, one of which has come pre-socketed. We also have legs. Again, I'm just going to take the avoidance. Look, I don't know if I'm going to play this character for anything. I don't know. But I do know that I can't get avoidance in any other way. Now, I actually already have a high eye level helmet, I think. Yeah, I already have a Myth Track helmet. So we're literally taking the same decision that we made on the DH. This character may well never see this many raid or miss this many great vault slots again. I may regret this decision. I may wish I'd taken the sockets, but the avoidance feels more special. Feels more like something I'm not going to get elsewhere. So I'm going to take the avoidance, and we'll see what happens. Avoidance is good. Again, it's not that hot for tanks. I would say it's better for Prot Warrior than it is for Vengeance Demon Hunter, because when we think about abilities that kill Prot Warriors, the Veximus tank frontal thing is scarier for Prot Warrior than it is for Vengeance Demon Hunter usually, although, defensive stance is a hell of a drug these days compared to what it was in Season 1, but I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan of avoidance. Like, a little bit of avoidance. The thing is, you get so many points of avoidance on your gear now that it's kind of crazy how powerful it is. Like, getting avoidance on your gear is a bigger percent DR than it was in previous seasons, right? Because you just get so much more of the number. So getting 1 or 2 avoidance pieces, all of a sudden you've got 10% damage reduction against area of effect. Pretty crazy. Okay, here's my monk. I healed as a Mistweaver in LFR so that I could get my my vault slot here. So this character has an LFR slot, a +10 key, and then some +0 keys. So really we're taking sockets here unless we are shown something incredible here. Now, Granite's Enduring Scale is a pretty darn good Brewmaster trinket. That is actually maybe something I'm going to think about taking. Brewmaster is pretty sick with this because flat armor is at its most valuable on Brewmaster. So I may end up taking the Granite's Enduring Scale. Yeah, we're going to do it. All right, I know I wanted to take a socket. That's why I got this LFR slot so that I could fill it out. I could take my sockets. But it's pretty rare to be offered a Myth Track trinket that is also a trinket you kind of wanted. So I'm going to take that. It's, it's not the greatest trinket, but it is definitely something. I guess I shouldn't necessarily have it equipped in Mistweaver, but let's go back to Brewmaster so we're not logged out in some really weird stuff. But yeah, Granite's Enduring Scale, I don't know. I mean, they're really doing a good job here of the week that I'm trying to take sockets, they finally offer me some good stuff. But yeah, I like that trinket. I like the idea of that trinket, and this is probably the only chance I'll ever get to take it on the Myth Track on that character. So if I want to play around with it, if I want to see what it's like, it's that or nothing, right? And I didn't even have any good stuff to socket yet. I'm probably going to purchase. A lot of my characters have their bullions. Like, I'll be able to make 2 bullion purchases this week on a lot of characters. I earned that second bullion so late into the week last week that I wanted to wait until I opened my vaults to make decisions. I think this is a good way to play most characters as well, is as the week gets closer and closer to reset, you want to start getting much more stingy with making decisions about buying anything or upgrading anything, any of those kind of decisions. If you make those on, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that's probably worth it. But if it's like Monday, Sunday, Tuesday for the Europeans out there, and you choose to upgrade or buy something, like you might see something the next day in your vault. You might literally not do any content until you open your vault, and then you open your vault and you find something that makes you feel like a stupid idiot loser for, buying the same item from the bullion vendor and then seeing it with avoidance in your vault, which I guess isn't something this character can do because I did LFR on this thing as well to fill out my vault. But we've gotten offered Myth Track Pants or Strike Twice with Speed. Now, Speed is a cool tertiary, but Strike Twice ain't competing with Golak, especially since I've already purchased Golak on this character. So yeah, we're gonna take the Myth Track Pants. We're not gonna take the socket. Those are cool. Pants are a high stat budget slot. I need those. If it was bracer or belt or something, I think I'd be taking the sockets, but it's not. So I'm taking those. And in my tanks, I'm a little bit less worried about filling out the vaults on because it's going to be pretty easy for me to like swap in different tanks for 2 bosses or 4 bosses in the raid. If I do 4 bosses on one tank, 4 bosses on another tank, each of those tanks does 1 key. All of a sudden we have a full vault, right? And I can take sockets in future weeks with those characters. But my DPS characters, that's a lot less true for. All right, here's my Druid. My Druid, I'm actually gearing up to be primarily a healer this season. Loot spec is currently Resto, which I don't think I want Resto Trinkets. But I guess do I have a good Guardian weapon? I guess I'm probably going to buy a Guardian weapon with bullions kind of soon. The Rashon, the Immortal Blaze. So I guess I'll stay Resto loot spec. I don't know. I'm hoping to not really see a tank trinket or a healer trinket or a DPS trinket. So let's just keep it in there. Okay, we've gotten offered boots, which upgrade my Enchanted Whelpling's Crest crafted boots that I made. So I made these so that I could take off my Spark boots and put on a Lariat and a Verdant Tether ring. But yeah, so this would be just big upgrades there. Or a 2-handed mace. This is actually somewhat worth considering because this would save me a bunch of crests on upgrading my Vakash. But I already have a 519 offhand, so it wouldn't save me any crests on that. So we're just looking at saving, 509 to 512 to 515 to 519. So we're looking at saving 30 Worms crests and 15 Aspect crests by taking this. So I think we can eliminate that as a choice as well. That doesn't sound as worth as either 2 sockets or boots upgrade. Now, the sockets, do I have anything good to socket? I have a Myth Track helmet, and I'll probably purchase I guess maybe I'll purchase another trinket this week instead of Growl's Discarded Tooth. But I could just purchase one of the funny rings as well. And then we would have some good things to put sockets into. This thing is Mastery Crit. I'll take the item again. It's my tank. I can get this thing vaults if I need to. Also, this thing heals keys, right? The healing keys is always in demand. Surely I can find need of that, and surely this Myth Track purchase will not be something I regret when I open a bunch of 1 vaults and get some good items. I open a 1 vault next week and it's got boots in it, but then I can't take a socket because I've already, it's only got 1 slot in the vault, so it would just be 2 tokens of merit. Surely that won't be the timeline that we are in next week, which I don't even know if this character's going to get a vault out of this week, TBH, because this week is Mop Remix. I'm pretty excited for it. D4 new season has started as well. I'm pretty sure I want to play some of that, so may or may not be actually really, or next week might be a bunch of 1 slot machines, and these characters may well live to regret not taking sockets this week. The good news is, though, if Mop Remix or D4 is really good, then maybe I'll keep getting 1 vault sockets on these guys, or 1 vaults on these guys, and then I'll be able to purchase sockets eventually the slow way by taking 2/3 of a socket each week. So here's my Hunter. My Hunter is quite geared, actually. It's 509, but I have 4-piece. I have Hero Track 4-piece and Myth Track Helmet, actually. I have Neltherix and Controlled Current Technique were my bullion purchases. I know Grief Torch is quite a good option, but it's kind of annoying on Beast Mastery because you have to barb shot and multi-shot before you Grief Torch, and like, I don't want to do that. And I've also crafted with my Sparks, but not with crests, because right now all my crests are going into upgrading my bow. Once I finish upgrading my bow, I'll probably put them into upgrading my crafted pieces. So, necklace, bracers, helmet, bow, most trinkets, most rings, belt. Any of these slots aren't good for us. This character only has 2 vault slots, so there's a decent chance we're not going to see something good. Loot spec serve, that's fine. There's probably less polearms than bow, I don't know. And, okay, we've got a class trinket here. Class trinket is actually pretty good, but even though this thing's on the myth track, it's still a heroic item. I can get this thing on the awakened track and bring it up to a higher item level, so we're not going to take that. And then these are also, hero items. We've got a Mastery Haste necklace, which is good stats, actually. It's not bad stats necessarily, but I already have a Torque of Pastime in my necklace slot that I'm going to upgrade later. We've got a Potion-Stained Cloak, a Verse Haste Cloak. So this would be jumping from Veteran Track straight to Myth Track on my cloak, which is pretty compelling, but I do have 2 good items to socket as well. I have a belt and a helmet that are both crying out for sockets. If I take this, though, I would gain a lot of value now. Surely I'll play my hunter in some content, right? Surely I'll be able to purchase some sockets eventually on this thing. I mean, it's going from Veteran Track to Myth Track, right? Surely that's really good. I'm gonna take the cloak. I feel like I've started this video by talking about how I was gonna take a bunch of sockets, how I was gonna be good, and then the minute I was tempted with any gear, I just immediately folded. And now they're just testing me by giving my rattier and rattier characters less and less exciting upgrades, and every single time I'm still just slamming the upgrade instead of being disciplined, instead of taking my sockets like I said I was gonna. But you know what? I don't care. Okay, here's my Warlock. Now my Warlock is definitely taking a socket. This character, for sure, we're taking sockets on, because there's not even really anything that can tempt me. My vaults here are gonna be all Hero Track or Myth Track and Boss Trinkets, which I can bully in those. So this character had an entirely sockets vault intentionally. I did my 4 things for bullions. I did a heroic raid for heroic raid stuff. This would be good, but it's Hero Track, and I can resist Hero Track items because I know that I can get those from keys, or I can get them in M+. So I'm gonna buy my sockets before I can get tempted into buying something else. I'll buy these items. I do already have a Myth Track belt that I could throw a socket into, and I'll probably be purchasing a fire ring this week on this character. But for now, we'll just let these sit in the bags where I won't be tempted by that vault. So that vault was easy. That was actually the only vault that's not going to have any Myth Track items in it. So that one was a gimme. That one was free. That one was. I think there was quite literally nothing that could show up in that vault that would be worth taking over sockets. Maybe if the Mythic Dungeon Rose had given me like a Leech or Avoidance Bis Trinket, maybe. But even then, I think I would have taken my Sakis. Okay, here's my Mage. My Mage is also getting quite geared these days. Up to 506. I've got a Dreambinder I'm working on. I've got a Pip's Emerald Dream Friendship Badge from Heroic. I've purchased a Diurna Ring as well. We're going to see, a Whispering Incarnate icon with speed. That's pretty good, but I can get one of those without speed that goes to a higher item level from the thing. Iridius Fragment Myth Track. I wonder if that's good for any of the wizard specs. I'm not going to take any of this Hero Track stuff. Like, yeah, this is an upgrade for now, but we're not. I'm not gonna play this game where I take Hero Track stuff. And there's also an Idol of Pure Decay. So 2 trinkets that I don't really recognize here. This calls for a quick survey. of the Wowhead guides and the usage statistics. Okay, so Iridius Fragment is looking pretty good for Arcane. It's looking pretty strong for Arcane mages. I'm gonna take it. Who needs sockets when you can get cool, powerful Mythtrack trinkets? That sounds really fun. It's a dungeon trinket. It's a Mythtrack dungeon trinket, so I can't buy this one from the vendor. So I'm gonna buy this Iridius Fragment, and you can't stop me. And I'm gonna learn Arcane. I'm gonna learn Arcane on this guy. I wanted to do that anyways. This will be the this is the little push, the push that I needed to be able to go Arcane. Yeah, because I've already got Dreambinder. Dreambinder's good for Arcane, right? I've already got the Aeronarch Ring. That'll be fine for Arcane as well. And then, you know, bang, Graal's Discarded Tooth gets discarded, and Iridius Fragment gets added. We'll spec Arcane, and we'll figure out the talents later. But, you know, I feel like this is a sign. I feel like this is a sign that says, hey, it's time to learn Arcane. We'll figure out some talents and stuff later. Sure, it'll be fine. And I'll become the greatest Arcane Mage to have ever lived. All right, here's my Shaman. My Shaman, I've started playing Resto on. So I've been healing. I healed my 4 keys on it last week. I also did a full clear of Heroic. A lot of my Mage, my Shaman, my Priest, my Warlock did Heroic, they did Heroic last week, or LFR in the case of my Priest, so that I could get Helm Enchants on those characters, because they didn't have them yet. But now I have Helm Enchants on everybody. And my Shaman is looking pretty good. Looking pretty good right now. I guess I can loot spec Ellie, because I don't really want any healer trinkets. I don't really want any tank trinkets either, so... or any caster trinkets, or any enhanced trinkets, so... we're obviously going to pass on all this hero track gear, and we're being offered either a one-handed mace, which I already have taken a one-handed dagger, or the Great Wolf Outcast grips. Now, I know I said I was going to take some sockets, but look at the value of this upgrade. This isn't even veteran track gloves. These are adventurer track gloves that I can transmute into Mythtrack gloves here with one simple click of a button. Now, could I take these sockets? Yes. Do I have 2 good things to socket? Absolutely. I have a Mythtrack helmet that is crying out for a socket, and a Seal of Diurna's Chosen. But what if, just for a moment, we let those worries about the world go away, and we instead purchase these gloves, and we say, you know what? Sockets are a problem for future me. He loves doing LFR to fill out his vaults so that he can have enough slots to take sockets again. That's something that on Monday night of next reset, I'm not going to regret this decision at all. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be doing my LFRs so that I can get my sockets, and I'm going to be happy about it, and I'm going to be thinking, gosh, I'm glad I have these Mythtrack gloves. These are really making me happy right now. That's a couple hundred extra intellect. You can't get that with sockets. Sockets don't give you intellect, so... yeah, wow, I'm doing really bad at my plan this week of taking any sockets. Surely my Priest will be able to do this, though. My Priest has 2 keys done. So what do we need to dodge so that we can take a socket? Belt, I've already crafted in. Rings, I'm going to buy goofy rings probably. Bracers, I'm going to craft bracers in actually very soon. Yeah, and then I've got 1 good trinket, but another good trinket would potentially sway me. And I have a Vakash, so a weapon wouldn't work. So I've got to fade those 2 things in my M+ rows here. All right, the one-handed weapon will be easy to avoid taking. Now, Chillwarn's Infusion Staff, if you think about it, is actually a pretty good option, because this means if I drop a hero track offhand, I can also upgrade it all the way to 522 for free, in addition to upgrading my Vakash for free. But this is just a Aspect Crest saving device. I think I can convince myself to take my sockets again. Now this character, this is going to be my second character to take sockets on, and it's also a character that doesn't have anything good to socket yet, but my crafted pieces are belt and bracers, so I can actually socket this belt even though it's only 502, because I know that I'm going to keep this, right? I'm going to keep the crafted belt probably, and I'll craft in bracers and keep that. Actually, I think I have enough Oh, once I do 1 key, I can make my time dilation bracers, and yeah, then I can maybe socket that, maybe buy a ring and socket that instead of socketing the belt, just in case I get a good belt and I want to move my zone of focus somewhere else, which maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But either way, mission accomplished. I managed to trick myself into taking some more sockets. That's good. All right, we've got 2 characters left. We've got my rogue. My rogue it's going to be kind of hard to take a socket on, because I did do Mythic Raid on this character. I did 4 Mythic bosses in an alt run on this character. So it may end up being a tough sell here. And I did a key. I did do some M0s on this guy as well, so at least we only have 3 good slots in the vault, but yeah. As long as I see, let's see, weapons. I guess I do still have a hero track weapon. I have a good trinket and a bad trinket. What do we got here? Okay, so we've got bracers. Big eye level upgrade, but I may well upgrade my bracers to be my next craft anyways. I may keep the lifebound bracers there. And bracers are such a low stat budget slot, even though I have low eye level there. I wouldn't want to take this anyways, because then I would have to find a new place to put my toxic patch for now. Myth track shoulders, definitely pretty good. I'd be able to chuck those things in the catalyzer. I could catalyze this hero track chest piece, and these pants, and this helmet maybe. And then I would have 4-piece, which is pretty good. Oh, and these gloves actually, and I would have 4-piece. Okay. So maybe I'm going to take the shoulders, I don't know. There's also, a Verse Haste Avoidance Ring. Gosh, I do love Avoidance. Avoidance is a special stat. I do like that stat a lot. But do I like it enough to take it over shoulders or a socket? It is Verse Haste. Haste isn't a great stat for Outlaw. It's a pretty bad stat for Outlaw, if we're being honest here. This does vendor for the mount, but this character doesn't have any of the other mount rings, I don't think. Plus, I know I'm going to want the Aeronog ring, right? So the question is, like, would I ever want... The Broodkeeper ring is quite bad stats for Outlaw, so I don't want that. But I think I don't want Haste as well. And Avoidance... Anything that Avoidance works on, Feint also works on. So I'm not going to die to. I'm going to take these Myth-Track shoulders. And we'll figure out the sockets later. The sockets again... That sounds like a good problem for future me. That sounds like a reason to... That sounds like not taking a socket is basically betting on myself that I will continue to have passion for this season, and I will play some keys and stuff. And if I'm wrong, if I don't have passion for this season, then what's going to be better for leveling in War Within? A couple extra sockets that don't have any good pieces of gear to go in? Or higher item level shoulders that I'll replace at level, 71 or whatever, 81. Whichever level I think 71. Are we level 70 right now? I feel like we are. Yeah, we're level 70. Okay, yeah, so level 71. All right, here's my Evoker, my last character. Now, this character, I got my Legendary on last week. Much easier Legendary to craft than the Firolath as well. I was kind of dreading the process of this, but it was, compared to Firolath, this was a cakewalk, making Nezuro, so that was nice. Loot spec's currently dev. So yeah, we're hoping to see... I guess an offhand to accompany Nezuro would be nice here. LFR chest piece, not interested in that. Haste Mastery necklace, could be interested there. Or an Idol of Pure Decay, but this is a hero track item, because I did like a +7 or something as my last key, so not interested in that. So it's just a question of whether we are interested in a Haste Mastery necklace, which it is a pretty good stat allocation, but... I don't think I'm interested. I don't actually know which spec I want to play on this guy yet, but I do know that I'm going to want sockets, and I do know that necklace is pretty likely to be a slot that I'll be interested in crafting into anyways. And Haste Mastery, like if it was Mastery Haste, I know that's really good for AUG and Prez, but yeah, I think we'll just take our sockets here. Do I have anything good to socket yet? No, not yet, but I'll probably buy... with my bullions, some rings in the very near future for this character, so that'll work out nicely. Also, I'll probably be wearing Dracothist arm guards, so once I upgrade those, that'll also be a nice target for the socket item. So a pretty successful week here. I ended up opening 13 vaults. I was planning on taking a lot of sockets. I ended up taking sockets pretty much exclusively on characters that don't have anything good to socket yet. And then all the characters that I wanted to take sockets on, I got offered something better. But you know what? That's a good problem to have. Anytime you're being tempted by the vault, that's good. That's much better than the weeks where your vault is just giving you nothing. So that will be it for this week. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope your vaults were as good or better than mine. I hope you saw some cool tertiaries or sockets or trinkets that you wanted. And let me know in the comments how yours went. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.